In this episode, I will give you my honest review on the book Scrum, The Art of Doing Twice the Work in the Half Time by Jeff Sutherland, which tells it like it is, the good, the bad, and everything in between, and how to fill the gaps obviously every book has. But not only that, I will provide you with insider's perspective on Scrum from the co-founder of the Scrum, Jeff Sutherland. But first, let's start with a brief overview of the book, okay? Scrum, The Art of Doing Twice the Work in Half the Time, is a book that provides an in-depth look at a Scrum framework for software development. The author, Jeff Sutherland, explains the principles and practices of Scrum and offers guidance on how to use the framework to deliver high-quality products quickly and effectively. Now, the book covers a range of topics, including the role of the product owner, the importance of cross-functional teams, and the benefits of using iterative development cycle. It also discusses the role of Scrum Master in facilitating the process and removing obstacles, and it provides case studies and examples of organizations that have successfully implemented Scrum. Now, I will show you what people are commenting about this book on Amazon. So the book has 3,272 global ratings by the time we record this, and customer reviews are 4.6 out of 5 stars, okay? Now, and I want you to show you one 5-star comment and one 1-star comment, okay? Now let's start with the 5 stars. Basically, this guy says, John Price, a fantastic story-driven overview of how Scrum came to be. Real-world situation where it has turned project around and why you should consider adopting it. If you are a C-level executive or other leader who wants to be sold on all this Scrum, Agile, and Lean stuff you have heard about, so read this. Note the endorsement by Eric Ries, author of the Lean Startup. The two books are good companions and written for a similar audience. And this book is also good for current Scrum practitioners. It's a fun read and refresher on why we are doing this thing called Scrum. It's easy to get lost in the day-to-day of backlog refinement, shipping increments, and handling team impediments and forget about the sprint of the whole thing. Scrum is about getting out of the way of teams and letting them deliver above and beyond what's possible in command and control organization. Bottom line, this is a great companion book to others that explain Scrum in more detail. But it's more about the ideas behind it and exciting possibilities it offers to people working on project anywhere. Okay? And now let's continue with 1-star commenting. So what people do not like about this book? This guy said, a boring book does not teach you anything about Scrum itself. Couple of methods here and there and throw in without giving the further explanation. But the whole book is basically about how Jeff Sutherland is the man. Jeff created this, saved this company, helped this person. The title of the book should be just cool biography of Jeff Sutherland. It also throws in the book just a bunch of random quotes and examples of other books and stories that were just Googled probably to add in the book. Okay, so 148 people found this helpful. And another one, much of this book is Jeff stating how great he is and he always knows better than anyone else. Very little on the practice application of Scrum and no mention of Kanban or any other form of Agile. Okay, now those are the bad or 1-star ratings. Now I will cover all these gaps that those two guys mentioned about how to put in the practice Scrum in real life later, so just stay with me and we will cover that. Now let me just share what I believe this book is all about, okay? This book is organized into 3 main sections. The problem section, the solution section, and the future section. So in the first section, problem section, Jeff discussed the challenges that traditional software development approaches often face. And those are: traditional software development approach often rely on long upfront planning phases in which all requirements are gathered and detailed schedule is created. However, this approach is prone to several problems, including unrealistic schedules, scope creep, and poor quality. Traditional approaches cannot easily adapt to change, and in the fast-paced world of software development, it is necessary to respond to changing customer needs, market conditions, and technological developments. Traditional approaches are often inefficient and result in low productivity, because teams may spend a lot of time on unnecessary tasks, such as creating a detailed documentation, and may not be able to deliver working software on time. And finally, traditional approaches can also suffer from cultural and psychological problems. Teams may be siloed and lack collaboration, and there may be a lack of trust and transparency. And this can lead to poor communication, low morale, and high turnover. And that's the first phase. Now let's continue with the second section of this book. It's called The Solution. Now Jeff introduces Scrum as a framework for software development that aims to address the problems described in the first section. Scrum is agile software development framework that is based on the principles of transparency, inspection, and adaptation. It emphasizes the importance of collaboration and self-management, and it is designed to be flexible and responsive to change. Remember that. And in Scrum, work is organized into short, iterative cycles called sprints, during which a small cross-functional team works together to deliver a potentially shippable product increment. So the team holds a daily stand-up meetings called daily Scrum to discuss progress, and at the end of each sprint, they review what they have accomplished and plan for the next sprint. And then Jeff introduces product owner, which is one of the key roles in Scrum, who is responsible for maintaining the product backlog. And product backlog is a prioritized list of items that team needs to work on, and ensuring that it reflects the priorities of the business. The product owner works closely with the team to prioritize and refine the backlog items. And another important role in Scrum is a Scrum Master, who is responsible for facilitating the process and removing any obstacles that may be hindering the team's progress. Scrum Masters help the team to adhere to the Scrum framework and ensures that the team is following the principles and practices of Scrum. And we have developers who are responsible for creating software or other products being developed. They are made up of cross-functional individuals who have the skills and expertise needed to complete the work. This may include software engineers, designers, testers, and other specialists. Developers in Scrum are self-organizing, which means they have the autonomy to decide how the best to complete the work. They are also responsible for estimating the effort required to complete each item in the product backlog, and for determining how much work they can commit to each sprint. In addition to discussing the roles and the responsibilities of the product owner and Scrum Master and developers, in this section, Jeff also provides an in-depth look at the various ceremonies and artifacts that are used in Scrum, such as sprint planning meeting, the daily Scrum, sprint review, sprint retrospective, and so on. In the final section of this book, Jeff looks ahead to the future of Scrum and discusses how the framework is likely to evolve over time. The authors argue that Scrum is here to stay and that it will continue to be a major player in the software development landscape. He predicts that Scrum will continue to grow in popularity and that it will become increasingly adopted in a wide range of industries and organizations. And I personally totally agree with that. The author also discussed potential challenges that Scrum may face in future. And one of the main challenges is that as Scrum becomes more widely adopted, there may be a temptation to water down the framework and apply it in inappropriate context. And the authors argue that it's important to remain true to the principles and practices of Scrum, and not to dilute the framework to make it tastier to certain groups. And finally, another potential challenge for Scrum is the increased complexity of software development. As software system becomes more interconnected and integrated with other systems, it may be more difficult to apply the Scrum framework straightforwardly. The authors argue that it will be important to adapt Scrum to meet the needs of these more complex systems, while still maintaining the core principles of the framework. Now let's talk about why some people don't like this book. Well, some readers may find the book too dry. The author provides a detailed explanation of the principles and practices of Scrum, and they use a lot of technical language and jargon. This may be off-putting to some readers who are looking for more general or accessible introduction to the framework. Some readers may disagree with the author's perspective on Scrum. The author is a strong advocate of Scrum and presents it as a superior approach to traditional software development methods. And some readers might disagree with this view and prefer a more balanced or natural perspective. Some readers may be disappointed by the lack of concrete examples or case studies, okay? And I will help you with that in just a moment, okay? While the author do include some case studies and examples of organizations that have successfully implemented Scrum, some readers might find that these examples to be too brief or too general to be useful. Now let's conclude this review. The book is great. The book is focused on explaining the principles and practices of Scrum framework, but this book does not guide you how to use it effectively. So it's about what and why, but not how, okay? But the book does explain that Scrum is a powerful and effective framework for software development that can help teams deliver high-quality products quickly and efficiently. It also explains that Scrum is based on the principles of transparency, inspection, and adaptation, and it emphasizes the importance of collaboration and self-management. And finally, it explains that Scrum is particularly well-suited to fast-paced, dynamic environments, where it is necessary to respond to changing customer needs, market conditions, and technological developments. And now, as I promised, to fill in the gap in this book on how. So in this book you got what and why, but you didn't get how. And so to fill in the gap this book, to discover the revolutionary software development framework that helps teams deliver high-quality products faster than ever before, in the description of this episode, I will add my recommendation. This is your how, because to be successful with Scrum, it is important to create a culture of trust, collaboration, continuous learning, and to adopt the principles and practices of Scrum consistently. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this review.